All right, in news just coming in, 2 explosions and gunfire were heard at an upscale hotel and office complex in the Kenyan capital on Wednesday afternoon, said a woman working in a neighboring building. Local television showed smoke rising from the compound in the Westland district of the city, which houses the Dusit Hotel as well as offices. The Nairobi police commander said that they had cordoned off the area around Riverside Drive due to a suspected robbery. Right, so this is the news we are tracking here on Wion World is One. This very moment, 2 explosions and gunfire were heard at an upscale hotel and office complex in the Kenyan capital of Nairobi on Wednesday afternoon, according to a woman working in a neighboring building. Now, local television showed smoke rising from the compound in the Westland district of the city, which houses the Dusit Hotel as well as other offices. The Nairobi police commander said that they had cordoned off the area around Riverside Drive due to a suspected robbery. Right, so these are the latest visuals coming to you from the Kenyan capital of Nairobi, where there has been an explosion reported from a 5-star hotel in the city, and police are reported to have cordoned off the area, and a manhunt is on for the suspects. This news breaking here on Wion World is One. The news coming in from the Kenyan capital of Nairobi about an explosion at a 5-star hotel complex. Reports also talk about an active shooter at large near this hotel and office complex. All right, moving on. It is D-Day for UK Prime Minister Theresa May. The British Parliament is set to vote on her Brexit deal in a few hours from now. Now, the debate over Theresa May's deal is underway in the Parliament. The debate is expected to last for at least 6 more hours before the deal is put to vote. Now, the deal faces opposition not only from Theresa May's political rivals, but even from within her own party. Differing voices are emerging from within the government, with some members of the Conservative Party backing their leader's deal, while others are opposed to the idea.
Minister, is the Prime Minister's deal heading for defeat?
Certainly hope not, no.
If it is defeated, will the Prime Minister resign?
I certainly hope not, no. She's the right Prime Minister, and I hope the deal gets through. That's the most important thing today.
Are you worried we're heading for a no deal?
Yes, I am against no deal. I am for the Prime Minister, and I am for the withdrawal agreement today. And as the Daily Mail editorial said today, we need to put our country first.
I think the Prime Minister will make her case this evening to all my colleagues with force and eloquence, and I think there's no question of the Prime Minister resigning. The Parliamentary Party voted that they had confidence in her last year. I believe the Prime Minister is doing the right thing. I believe she should continue to lead the party in the country.
I will be voting against the withdrawal agreement because it keeps us potentially in a customs union without an end date, divides up the United Kingdom between Northern Ireland and Great Britain, and pays $39 billion for nothing in return. The people voted to leave. They didn't vote for a deal, they voted to leave. And this deal doesn't actually make us leave cleanly.
On Monday, Theresa May made a last-ditch effort to get lawmakers on her side. She urged lawmakers to back her deal, saying that rejection of Brexit agreement would amount to subversion of democracy.
And if, rather than leaving with no deal, this House blocked Brexit, that would be a subversion of our democracy, saying to the people we were elected to serve that we were unwilling to do what they had instructed. So I say to members on all sides of this House, whatever you may have previously concluded, over these next 24 hours, give this deal a second look.
Now, supermarkets in the UK have started to stockpile goods and expand warehouses amid uncertainties over the country's departure from the European Union. British lawmakers will vote on Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit deal today. There had been concerns that if the deal is rejected, there would be the possibility of a no-deal Brexit. It would mean at least transport and trade between the UK and the EU could be severely affected. Businesses have been worrying about the impact of the uncertainties as a large proportion of their goods depend on imports. Supermarket chains such as Marks & Spencer and Tesco have announced that they had negotiated with some EU suppliers on increasing imports, especially of goods that are easy to store. But they warn that more than half the goods on the shelves are vegetables and fruits, which are perishable and therefore cannot be stockpiled. The supermarket chains also warn customers to be prepared for the shortage of certain goods if a no-deal Brexit happens. All right, moving on. In a move that could further escalate tensions between US and Canada, a Chinese court has sentenced a Canadian man to death for smuggling drugs. Now, after the death sentence was awarded, Canada has warned its citizens about the risk of arbitrary enforcement of local laws in China. The Chinese court retried Robert Lloyd, who had appealed against his original 15-year prison sentence, and decided on his execution. The court said that Lloyd has conspired with others in an attempt to smuggle 222 kilograms of banned drugs from China to Australia in late 2014. He was arrested in December that year. The Canadian has argued in court that he was a tourist visiting China and was framed by criminals. Meanwhile, the move has angered Canada, with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau accusing China of arbitrarily using the death penalty. The court's ruling and Trudeau's reaction could aggravate already sour relations between China and Canada following the arrest of Huawei CFO Meng Wanzhou in Canada and China's subsequent detention of 2 Canadians.
As a government, we actually strengthened the policy that requires the Canadian government to always intercede on behalf of Canadian facing the death penalty anywhere in the world. We will continue to do that as we have in this case. But I will say it is of extreme concern to us as a government, as it should be to all our international friends and allies, that China has chosen to begin to arbitrarily apply death penalty in cases facing, as in this case, facing a Canadian.
Well, Robert Lloyd Schellenberg was detained in 2015 and was convicted last year for attempting to smuggle more than 200 kilograms of methamphetamine into Australia. And for that, he received a sentence of 15 years in jail and a fine of $22,000. Now, he appealed against that verdict. And over the course of that appeal, prosecutors say that new evidence emerged, new evidence involving a witness by the name of Su Ching, who we are told was Schellenberg's translator. Now, details of that new evidence are slightly unclear, but the suggestion is that Schellenberg may have been involved in a wider drug trafficking ring. Reports say that there were 70 observers present at the retrial on Monday, observers including many foreign journalists. And we are told that the whole trial happened very quickly and the sentencing took just about 20 minutes. We're also told that Su Ching didn't look Schellenberg in the eye at all over the course of the proceedings and wasn't able to recall a lot of the details of this new evidence and had to refer to a written statement. Now, according to the Chinese, the new evidence justifies the harsher sentencing. Under Chinese law, any appeal cannot increase any punishment, but because of the new evidence, it is allowed to do so. But according to Schellenberg's lawyer, there was never enough evidence to convict him in the first place, and this new evidence should never have been admitted either.
In other news, chants of Har Har Mahadev are echoing in India's holy city of Prayagraj as the Kumbh Mela kicks off. It's the largest human congregation on earth, with Hindu devotees taking the royal bath at the Sangam, or the confluence of 3 holy rivers, on the festival of Makar Sankranti. Take a look.
Millions of Hindu pilgrims are thronging the city of Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh. They are here to bathe in the sacred waters of River Ganga during the Kumbh Mela, the largest religious gathering on earth. Traditionally called the Kumbh, it marks the halfway stage between the celebrations of the Kumbh Mela, which is held every 12 years. And the gates to Kumbh opened today. At the crack of dawn, pilgrims gathered at the sacred Sangam for a ritual dip in the sacred waters. The Sangam is the confluence of River Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati. The festival of Makar Sankranti marks the beginning of the 48-day event and is considered sacred by believers. A bath at the confluence of the holy rivers during these 7 weeks is believed to cleanse the body and the soul and free oneself from the unending cycle of life and death.
अच्छा क्या बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है क्योंकि इतने छोटे उम्र में हम लोग को इतना अच्छा कुंभ में नहाने का अवसर मिला है तो इससे और सौभाग्य की क्या बात हो सकती है.
Naked, dreadlocked holy men smeared in ash and seers clad in saffron robes wander the streets of the city, offering blessings to pilgrims who have travelled from every corner of the country.
इधर में आना का बात बहुत दिन से था लेकिन हुआ नहीं. ये बात यही है जो हमको बहुत अच्छा लगा है. पुण्य क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा मैंने जानता नहीं.
Seers of 13 akhadas who have traditionally participated in the Kumbh Mela were the first to take the holy dip known as the Shahi Snan. The Uttar Pradesh state government has left no stone unturned to ensure that this event is a big success. From street art to top-of-the-line tents, the streets of Prayagraj are a riot of lights and colours. The state has also deployed nearly 30,000 police personnel to oversee crowds and prevent stampedes that have marred previous such gatherings. The last major gathering in Allahabad in 2013 drew 120 million devotees, with 30 million plunging into the holy waters on a single auspicious day. The Kumbh will reach its culmination on March 4th. Until then, the world watches a human congregation like no other. Bureau Report, World is One.